Hi, this is Mason. It's 11 o'clock in the morning in Syracuse, and we're live in the 315. Here's Brian Higgins.
Oh, what is up, everyone? Monday morning news show. I spent a lot of time coming up with the name of this show. We're live. The channel is the 315. We're in it. I put the words together. We're live in the 315. Welcome in. Monday morning. The plan is this. We'll do this on Mondays. We'll do this on Thursdays. We'll do this at 11 o'clock Mondays. It'll give us, a little leg up on the week. First licks at getting in on the week. We'll get a chance here, especially during basketball season. The Monday show will always be before the first game of the week for Syracuse basketball. The Orange play tomorrow at Georgia Tech. The Thursday show, watch how this goes, will always be before the weekend game, which means we can use this show as an opportunity to do no wrong answers early, and then, you guys get to be in on the ground floor of no wrong answers. Welcome in, everyone in the chat. Jen, Gavendo, CJC, what's up? Yeah, who are you? Who are you, CJC? Glad to have you all in, and we'll try to mix it up here. We'll have the calls open as always. Link pin top of the chat so we can take your video calls throughout the show. We're going to try to work in some guests, hopefully at least once a week. We'll see how that goes. Mike McAllister will likely join us on Thursday this week to talk a lot of Portal. On Mondays, and I'd like to say I planned this on purpose. So let's go with I planned this on purpose, and I didn't accidentally stumble into it when the ACC sent an email last night. But a go figure on this show that we're doing from 11 to about noonish on Mondays, that Adrian Autry's, Red Autry, Hot Seat Red, perhaps we'll start calling him that, his ACC weekly teleconference is currently scheduled on a weekly basis for 11:50 on Monday mornings. What perfect timing. So I got eyes on the Zoom here. We're connected to the Zoom where Jay Lucas, Miami new head coach, is currently speaking. So Red's scheduled to go at 11:50, so we can do that as well. So what an exciting amount of things that we can do on a Monday morning. So all that going on. Usually, I'd say in this case, we'll have whatever game happens on the weekend, and we'll be able to discuss that. We've had the post-game show, but we'll have, an opportunity to further mull and whatnot. Yeah, nothing happened this past weekend. I did do a little scouting, though, if you didn't catch it on the social media. I did do a little scouting for Syracuse basketball. We've been talking about ball movement, the lack thereof. Went to Utica. We braved just some ridiculous lake effect that landed specifically on the thruway, but only between here and Utica. It took Rome and was just like, where at Rome? So driving through that was an adventure. But we made it to Utica on Friday night to take in the Globetrotters, and I'll tell you that the ball, it was a moving. They were running a never-ending weave. The weave is never-ending. Double dribbles, traveling. Who cares? That ball movement. Magnificent. So we've got our eyes on that ahead of Syracuse and Georgia Tech tomorrow. The portal is cooking for football. There's thousands upon thousands of players in it already. Syracuse is participating, right? They got one random tight end from South Carolina who has 12 career catches. Yeah. Texas Tech just spent $5 million on a quarterback. Syracuse got a random tight end. So we'll get into that more. It'll be good to have McAllister on later this week so we can properly do that. Hopefully, Monday, hopefully between now and Thursday, some stuff will happen. Just a quick update on the schedule now. So we've added this Monday and Thursday mornings, 11 o'clock, where it shows that start at noon. Yeah. First word of the day. Then we've got post-game show, 4,000. I looked the other day, Gavendo, Saturday, and it was like at 1,500 or whatever. I had Dan Patrick on this morning in the car, and he said 4,000. I'm like, I heard 1,500, and that was like 2.5 days ago. It's already at 4,000. And that was at like 9 o'clock this morning. That was 2 hours ago. It's probably at like 12,000 by now. It's absolutely Absolutely bonkers. So we got this show today and Thursday. We got post game tomorrow night, Syracuse, Georgia Tech. That's a 7 o'clock tip down in Atlanta. Jordan and I, after a 1 week respite, will be back with a TPS report on Wednesday night. First off, before we get into all that, I do want to thank all of you who participated in our holiday food drive. We got the final numbers in. We got the matching donation in from our friends at Wild Birds Unlimited. Thank you, Matt Costi. $2,620 by something we basically pulled out of our butt at the last minute. Really awesome. Good job by you. Good job by everybody. So really cool that we were able to get that and get those funds routed through the GoFundMe and on their way to the food bank of Central New York to help out those in need into 2026. So that was wrapped up as of the ball dropping last week, and officially a Happy New Year's, and off we go here into 2026. So, we were raising that money, CJC. We were raising the crap out of that money. For those of you new here, subscribe to the channel. The little $ button there next to the chat. You can also become a member of the channel at various levels for various financial points. Always appreciated. And because we passed the 500 subscriber mark a few weeks back, you can also highlight your chats with donations as well and make them do fun, crazy things. In the thing. Yeah, did the ball act? What was up with that? I saw it the next day, CJC, because I did not make midnight, or if I did make midnight, I did not watch the ball drop. I don't remember which was actually the case. Yeah, what they cut away? That was weird, right? Bizarre. Weird ball drop shenanigans down in New York City. What was up with that? That was oddly strange. But we've been doing a lot of things. We've been working a charity every month, Jen. Woo! Maybe a few times a year. You're stretching my capabilities here. If somebody wants to provide the matching funds every month, we could do that. But we'll see. This month the charity is me. I've been working with the AI though. Also, Wild Birds Unlimited. Can you show your link? Did you get the camera, CJC? You got the. You've got the. You're looking at birds? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. Can I look at your link? Is that a thing? I'm gonna guess you could probably show me your link. I don't know. Put it in the chat. Let's see what we can do with it. We can take a peek. I can look at my quarterly perhaps. I can look at my bird camera. You did. How have you gotten any bird? It's not exactly a very friendly birding time of the year. We can take a quick look in my. Oh, it's snowing. How about that? We can take a. Well, look at this. The Wild Birds Unlimited. This is the Wild Birds Unlimited backyard bird cam featuring just a little bit of Jay Lucas in the corner because I'm keeping an eye on the thing. It's snowing in Syracuse. You'll be shocked to know that it is currently snowing in the backyard on the old Wild Birds Unlimited. A backyard bird camp. But back to the business at hand here today. We're going to get you no wrong answers for Syracuse and Georgia Tech. End of the hour, we'll get you Red Autry. Throughout, if you are so inclined, we've got, as always, the link pinned top of the chat if you'd like to join the program vis-a-vis a live video call. But I've also, in the spirit of a news show, back in the radio days, like every segment I did had its own open. Now we've got AI out the wazoo. We've got, a dark-eyed Junko. I haven't had that. Northern Cardinals. Been living the Northern Cardinal life. But we've been working the AI. We've been working the AI thing hard. So may I present to you Portal Watch.
Hi, it's Mason. And I'd never enter the transfer portal, but many have. And many Orange will continue to come and go. This is Portal Watch. Again, here's Brian.
Well, thank you, Mason. I'm glad to hear that Mason will never enter the portal. That portal was wild, man. It's like a crazy vortexing black hole thing. Portal Watch here. It is officially day 4 of Portal Watch. And the portal opened midnight Jan 1. Or Jan 2. Midnight Jan 2. So basically, the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, whatever game that was. I think it was the Sugar Bowl. Was it the Ole Miss game? Yeah, the Sugar Bowl ended, and then a few minutes later, the portal yawned open as we struck midnight on Friday morning. Now, I think what's going to be interesting and what has me minutely concerned here is things need to move quicker than ever in the portal this year as far as the end results. Now, let's not kid ourselves. Obviously, plenty of stuff has already happened behind the scenes, the illegal tampering, whatever, who cares? Like we saw Cincinnati's quarterback made like the whirlwind tour, LSU, Texas Tech, $5 million. He did that all in the span of the last weekend. We'll get into some of Mike McAllister's reporting here in a second of visits upcoming and all that. But Syracuse, which is up to 27 outgoing in the portal, the immediate incoming has not really been high. Not totally concerned yet, but it's something to certainly keep an eye on, that it's just not been like an overwhelming raft of incoming portal recruits so far. In fact, it's only been one on the official side of things. That's Michael Smith, who will have 3 years of eligibility remaining at tight end, a tight end coming in from South Carolina, who apparently Syracuse has been involved in just long-term trades with. That started way back with Lenora Sellers, who's one of the many players that's done re-signing commitments to their current team. So the Orange got a 3-star portal tight end. He's 6'6", 248. Don't know much about him. He hasn't played that much and missed most of the last season. Injured. V-Dog, welcome to the chat. Yeah, so right now we're still kind of focused on what do they need? And not what do they want, what do they need? Yasin Willis in the portal. We don't know what's going on with some of the other situations in the portal, including Will Nixon, if he's going to get another year of eligibility, and I still have no idea why he'd be entitled to one. They need a running back, and they potentially need their starting running back in the portal. And if you look at what Mike McAllister has reported this week as far as visits coming up, Jawan Johnson, formerly of LSU, will be visiting later this week. Ahmad Miller, a running back from Jackson State, will be visiting later this week. A couple running backs, James Jones from Delaware State, Peyton Lewis from Tennessee, are expected to visit at some point. So you can sort of tell by that when you look at James Jones, Delaware State, and when you look at Ahmad Miller, Jackson State, you have two lower-level guys that have production. When you look at Jawan Johnson, LSU, and when you look at Peyton Lewis, Tennessee, you have two SEC guys that, highly touted, whatever, but haven't gotten to play a lot at their respective schools for whatever the reason. Stacked backfields, haven't produced yet, whatever. So I would look for Syracuse to, maybe bring in one of each, because you're going to be able to offer these guys in the portal a chance to start. Will you offer enough money? That's always the question when it comes to the transfer portal. Here's what's on Mike McAllister's expected to visit list from this week on various days. Tunisi Arieye, an edge rusher from UNLV, a defensive back from Dayton, Vincent Ferenzi, a defensive tackle from Tennessee, Herb Gray, the running backs I mentioned, Johnson, Miller, along with Jones and Lewis, a quarterback, and again, the quarterback is going to be an important thing. Marcus Stokes, West Florida. It's going to be tough to get him, I think. He may be looking for a starting role. He was very good at D2 West Florida, formerly was at Florida. He's a guy, I think he's also looking at Memphis, maybe some other places he's expected to visit later this week. A couple of other quarterbacks that have started at lower levels, Terry Hedden at Furman, Amari Odom from Kennesaw State, and potentially Taron Dickens from Western Carolina. I like the idea of what they're doing there. Go get a guy that's coming up from a lower level, that has played a lot at a lower level, that is potentially willing to sit and wait at an upper level of football, depending on what happens with Steve Angeli, injury, how long he's got, and all that. The idea of what Fran's doing makes sense to me. We saw with Ole Miss, that idea can really, really work. Now, Ole Miss got the best guy at a lower level, and now it's suddenly in the Final Four for football. So we'll see how that all goes. Obviously, with quarterbacks, the market can get really weird really quickly due to the money involved. Cincinnati's quarterback just went to Texas Tech. I think that got announced this morning. $5 million. $5 million. You're worried, Vizzy, about LSU guys because of Ricky? Yeah, Devin, we're live. It is the 315. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, North Texas is really good. Get a couple of North Texas guys. Go out and get them. Other guys in the portal. We know Syracuse's connection now to Toledo. Vince Kerr is the new coordinator. They'll be welcoming a linebacker, Chris DeApollonia from Toledo. I did see I'm blanking on his name, the D end pass rusher from Toledo, who I think we were all connecting the dots to Syracuse. He picked Rutgers. What's up with that? What's up with that, guy? Thought you were coming here to Syracuse. There's a defensive tackle from Georgia State, Jartavius Flournoy. There's a different tight end visiting from New Mexico State, Gavin Harris. We mentioned some of the quarterbacks. I'll be intrigued to see what the Orange do at a wide receiver. There's a wide receiver from South Dakota. All the Dakotas are good at football. Lorenzo Fenner, who's expected to visit. Yeah, Govendo, the portal news is nuts. So I want to go back up to V-Dog's list here. And again, link pinned top of the chat if you'd like to join the show to discuss portal or whatever. Red Autry Weekly ACC Zoom will be coming up at 11:50. We'll hit you no wrong answers for Cuse and Georgia Tech for basketball later in the program. Because I figured here, part of what we're doing on this show is, work smarter, not harder. We're going to do some of the work I was already doing anyway. No wrong answers at all. We're just going to do it live so you can see it first, and then it's going to end up on YouTube and whatnot anyway later. So we're taking the same amount of work, making a little bit more, and then turning it into even more content. It's the magic of the internet and editing and YouTube and all this stuff here in 2026. We're getting used to saying the year as well. So V-Dog, yeah, quality running back. They need at minimum one quality running back, potentially your starting running back, certainly one that's going to play a lot, and potentially more than one in that. Friend said in November, early December, whenever he said it, they're going after 2 portal quarterbacks. That's hard to accomplish. Look in the QB room, though. Everyone's gone. You got Rich Beelan, who may or may not be a quarterback going forward. You got a rookie in Zaid Lott, who's a freshman. You've got Angeli coming back off an Achilles. And the only other guy you might have left is a lacrosse player. Everyone else is gone. Everyone else is gone. Ricky Collins was the latest to announce his name going to the portal. We all knew that months and months ago, regardless of how long it took him to say that. So they need to figure out how they're going to man that quarterback room. But I said this in a different conversation I was having with Sam Croston the other day when she had me on something for CNY Central. She asked the importance of getting a backup quarterback in the portal. Like, where does it rank on the importance level? And my answer was, well, it depends. It's either the most important thing you're doing this offseason or it's the least important thing you're doing this offseason. Because 2 years ago, if Kyle McCord had gotten hurt, I don't know if they were going to, the same exact thing would have happened as last year. They didn't have anyone else that could play quarterback last year. Then Angeli got hurt this year, and they didn't have a backup that was worth a salt, even though you had Collins and whatever, and we saw what happened. So if Angeli stays healthy all year, then you're fine. And if not, then it becomes the most important thing of all time. The most important thing of all time. What's the point of that, Devin? Well, I mean, I think Rocco's going into his last year. Is that correct? Like, they're all following their coach. Is Alex a younger guy? A linebacker from Buffalo? That would make sense to me, Devin. Get a linebacker from Buffalo. And then let me look back up at what you said here, V-Dog. 2 linebackers, 3 DLs. Yeah, it would be great to find something resembling a difference maker on the front end of your defense. And can you find this year's version of Fadil Diggs? Where's that coming from? Was that like McCord in some ways, a one-time only situation that you had Fadil, you had the Texas A&M connection, and it was a package deal, and you had the Jersey connection? Like, those dots connected in 8 million different ways. Is there anyone else that has dots connect like that? Because not having Fadil last year on defense, or a guy like him, I think was huge. Was huge. What else? Here's the problem, V-Dog, with what you said about all those things. You said you want all of that, so you need $1 to $2 million to spend? You just listed, like, $10 million, probably. Right there. You listed, to get good players, you listed a lot more than $2 million right now. There. 2 linebackers, 3 defensive linemen, 4 to 5 OT, DT, a cornerback. I think they're actually good on the back end of the defense. Like, you have both your starting corners back. And I think the guys that left in the portal left because they knew they were sliding down in the rotation. I actually feel decent-ish about the secondary right now. I'm worried about front end of the defense. You have a high volume of offensive linemen. Do you need to find better offensive linemen, or do you trust the new offensive line coach in Castillo to coach them up and be better at that going forward? I don't know which way to go on that, or both. I think you need difference makers up front on both sides of the ball. You need a playmaker at the running back position. If you're going to go get a wide receiver in the portal, I'd prefer a veteran because you have plenty of young talent. Darian Williams, Boobie Johnson from last year. You got the guys coming in this year. You got a lot of young talent. I'd like to see either a veteran that has produced in the past or a veteran that hasn't gotten an opportunity. But I want somebody that has at least been through it here a little bit. You know, you think of Jackson Meeks a couple of years ago. There could be a guy like that that hasn't gotten an opportunity yet. So I need guys, like if you're going to add somebody new to the wide receiver room, I want a veteran presence into the wide receiver room, but they need a running back that can make some plays. Yeah, V-Dog, in hindsight, yeah, when you go back, once they moved Barron, the linebacker, I think that changed a lot on defense. Marlowe obviously got hurt, but the Fadil thing, well, yeah, when they got Tusi. The Fadil thing, not having anyone that really picked up the slack for Fadil Diggs last year, obviously the year went to crap once Angeli got hurt. But the reason I think the defense was not effective as the year went along is because they did not have a guy like Fadil up front that could be a chess piece and made you plays. Fadil did so many things. Like when Marlon Wax got hurt last year, they moved him into the just, we got a problem over here, send Fadil. We got a problem over here, send Fadil. That when Marlowe came back later in the season, they were like, all right, let's get after the passer, send Fadil. So that's one of those things where those guys are hard to come by. Being able to find Fadil, that's going to be the test for Fred here. Well, was that a one-time only thing, much like McCord was a one-time only thing? I don't know. That's one of the big things I got my eyes on in Portal Watch here. Looking forward to have McAllister on later this week. San Diego Cuse has woken up on the West Coast. He's heard the siren song of Portal Watch. You want the Kennesaw State guy? All right. Yeah. I'd like to get one of those quarterbacks that has legitimate starting experience, that is willing to elevate to a higher level and may not get to play, but is okay with that, and they need a difference maker at edge. They need a difference maker that, whether it's a guy that's getting sacks or not, is disruptive. Is, to use like a Collinsworth or those guys' terms, is a chess piece. Is a guy that you have to game plan around. It was Fadil Diggs a couple years ago. It was Fadil, absolutely. But you need someone like that, and those are really hard to come by. I'll be really intrigued to see how fast things develop this week. I thought they might be going faster because of when does the semester start for Syracuse? So friends talked about like the 15th and the 16th, right? Syracuse, academic calendar. So start right after Martin Luther King Day. Let's load this up. We need spring 2026 because it feels like spring. Oh my goodness, the first day of classes is a week from today. The semester starts on Monday. The semester starts a week from today. So the semester starts before the portal closes. Like, you need to get guys in so you can get them enrolled. Like, this is why the current schedule of when the portal's doing is going to be such an issue. Because, like the actual academics and still pretending that they're doing school here is going to collide with the football and the portal in such a stupid way. It's going to make the timing of this stuff really bizarre. Like there's going to be scenarios where guys are going to be committing to schools after the semester has already started. So are they missing a semester of school? Are they just going to be allowed to start the semester late? Like how is this going to work with all the stuff? The ad deadline for classes is the 20th. So that's 2 weeks from tomorrow. Late registration and schedule adjustment, Monday the 12th through Tuesday the 20th. So I guess the 20th is the real deadline here. The portal is open for entrance through the 16th, which is a week from Friday. I don't know. The calendar never made a whole lot of sense. Once you start adding in the school of it all, and obviously different schools, yes, they did get a tight end who has 12 career catches. They got a tight end. So, good to have a tight end. They needed a tight end. They basically hardly had any left after Jamie Tremble, the 4-star, moved over to the defensive side of the ball. But they have a tight end. A large fellow, nearly 250, 6'6". I don't know a ton about him, but he is a tight end. So that's one. They got one. It is not fast moving here. Syracuse has not been flinging around the cash. I don't know what kind of cash reserves they have right now. Was a lot of their money used to retain the current roster? Or at least the guys they wanted. Obviously, there wasn't overwhelming fundage when you look at Jonte Cook being gone and things like that. 13th ranked tight end in the transfer portal. All right, like you're going to take it. It's not a bad get. It's just he's not a guy that you're leaning on. This tells you also how the rankings in the portal are just like, whatever. Just backup tight end who missed most of the season hurt from South Carolina, Michael Smith, and that guy's the 13th ranked tight end in the portal. Sure, maybe. I don't know. He could be. Like, I believe that's what they wrote down, but who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? Then Syracuse, I have not seen yet. I don't think any of the outgoing Syracuse guys have had a landing spot yet. None that I've seen either. So that'll be also something. I'm always intrigued to see where the guys that are leaving end up. AKA, did they leave because they stink and they weren't going to get on the field? Or did they leave because Syracuse wasn't going to pay up? AKA, the guys I'm really intrigued to see where they end up this year are Yasin Willis, Darrell Gill, Jonte Cook. Those are the main three I'm intrigued to see where they go. I'm also intrigued, just for the sake of it, to see where, like Ricky, Jakari, and Carney end up, just because the quarterbacks are always interested. And I'm intrigued just because they were around for a while. Like, where does a Umari Hatcher end up? Where does a Derek McDonald end up? But the main ones, like the ones you thought you'd like to have back, Yasin, Cook, and Gill, where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? Yeah, San Diego Q's. Like, I don't dismiss getting the Smith guy. He's 6'6", 250. Like, that fits the bill for tight end, right? Like, that's exactly what you want size-wise out of a tight end. It's just, that's not a guy where you're bringing in production. That's a guy where you're bringing in, and Syracuse has done this many, many times recently, and sometimes it's worked, and sometimes it hasn't. That's a guy where you're bringing in an SEC caliber athlete, and you're hoping by giving him the opportunity to get on the field in ways that perhaps he hasn't been on the field to that point, that he will produce more. That is what you're trying to get with a guy like Smith. You think Willis was let go because he wasn't Dart? I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, there's no. It's so impossible to tell with these situations. Like, the only one where I'm very certain of kind of what happened is that Jonte Cook was a money thing. Like, Fran Brown did not want to spend the money that Jonte Cook required. Like, that's the only one I'm remotely certain of. But besides that, who knows? Who knows? Yeah, James Hurd is in the portal. But again, he was the guy that when they got him from West Virginia a couple of years ago, it was like, okay, that's great. And then he really has never done anything in his Syracuse career. So you heard it from the cousin of a coach. I mean, it might be Jen. I have no idea. Like I have no idea. Ricky Collins, yeah. I mean, there was an incident. Cook did something. I mean, the way it was explained is that they didn't get together on the money, but who knows? Like Jonte Cook's about to be on his fourth school in 13 months. So what does that tell you? Like that's not leaving. That doesn't tell you a lot about like. I think some people like the talent was there for Jonte Cook, but at the same time he dropped passes. He did this. He did whatever. It didn't. I don't think losing Jonte Cook, considering all the wideouts you brought in, I don't think it's a massive loss as long as you can turn this year's freshman wideouts into contributors that showed we saw it from Darian Williams, Boobie Johnson. We saw it from those guys. They got a little of that in them, right? Like there's a chance they can work out. And if these two freshmen coming in, when you look at Russell and Goff, like they're freshman wideouts, if either or both of them are ready to contribute right away, like you've got enough. Would you have liked to keep a Cook? Would you have liked to keep a Gill just so you had a veteran to lean on him? Yeah. I'd say Cook, so be it. Gill, out of the two, like is Cook more talented? Sure, I would have rather personally kept Gill. Peyton Lewis has identical ranking to Yasin Williams. Okay, yeah, and he's the Tennessee one, right? Yeah, I'd say San Diego Q's. I don't think I get 27 guys. I believe that's the number right now are in the portal. There's not a program killer in there that's left. You didn't lose your starting quarterback. You did not lose, besides the wideouts and Yasin. Were there any starters you lost? Like you didn't lose any defensive starters, right? You got your corners back, who are both really good. Yeah, the wide receiver room had so many people in it, and like you lost the guys that were big recruits coming in a couple years ago at wide receiver. Like, would you have liked to keep him? Sure, but I don't think you're I don't think if Syracuse doesn't succeed next year, it's going to be because the wide receivers were lacking. Like you have skill there. You have people that can get things done. Like I'm not. Out of the list of things I'm concerned about with Syracuse football, that would be low on the list. Oh, the one other thing we didn't mention, talk about a specific position that I have my eyes on. And, man, talk about things that are not, who the hell knows. Can they get a center? They need a center. Or they need to take the entire offseason to take somebody in that room and turn them into a capable center. Because when the center got hurt, Austin Collins. Like Miller, Collins, knew he had a common last name. When Austin Collins got hurt last year, an already mid offensive line just absolutely fell apart. Absolutely fell apart. They signing a center out of the transfer portal is not the sexiest thing. We certainly talk about it a lot more during basketball portal watch about getting a center. Syracuse absolutely needs to get a center. The jersey thing is strange, Sandy. Like, out of all of the things that popped to me, the jersey thing was the most bizarre. And I can read it two ways, because some of them, when you look at Hornsby and Ross and Willis, right? Like, those three were three of the higher-ranked guys and all jersey guys that came in France first class. Pardon me. That I think, based on how Fran was selling it, I don't know, I thought they were going to be the backbone of this team for a while. And then some of the other jersey guys, I think the other side of things is I think Fran also perhaps... pardon. So many shows now. You got to get back in the rhythm of it vocally. Like some of them, I think Fran almost got too jersey, that he went a little bit too far down the list, right? So I think I'm more intrigued to see, all right, why did the top end Jersey guys leave? Yeah, they didn't lose volume-wise, Sean, a lot of O-linemen in the portal. Oh, what I want to know is, all right, out of all the changes that have made on the staff, and there have been many, obviously we focus on defensive coordinator and all that with Vince Karras, and that looks to be a solid hire in my mind. Did you get the O-line hire right in Castillo? If Castillo can coach these guys up better, you got a shot on the O-line, I think. Because, yeah. Govendo? That's a good question. Should we talk some basketball? Are we ready to talk some basketball? We're gonna work Portal Watch into this show specifically a lot here going forward. This will be a great spot on Monday and Thursday mornings to talk football, to talk Portal, to talk all that. But also part of what we want to accomplish here in this new show is live in the 315 is to show you me doing some stuff live that I was already doing anyway. Like we do No Wrong Answers. We do all those things. We got Red coming up here at 11:50 at his weekly ACC teleconference. So AI gave us a new open for Portal Watch. We also went the AI route in a little search for No Wrong Answers.
Hi, Mason again. It's time to find out exactly what's going to happen in the next Syracuse game. This is No Wrong Answers. Here's Brian.
Mason's working overtime here. I need to pay him more. Did anyone notice in that graphic that AI cooked up for me, the exclamation point at the end of No Wrong Answers lost its dot midway through? It was just, it lost the dot. Like, where'd the dot go? Like, you're at a level 2 energy? That's, Matt NY, level 2 is not bad for a Monday morning. V-Dog's at a level 1. V-Dog's at a level 1. All right, let's do it. A little No Wrong Answers here for Syracuse and Georgia Tech coming up 7 o'clock on Tuesday evening, McCamish Pavilion, down to the campus of Georgia Tech in the heart of Atlanta. What did I use on AA to make that, Matt NY? That's a great question. What did I use? I used my Googling fingers until I found a free one. Do I remember at the second which one I used? Sora sounds right. I think it was Sora. That sounds right. I think I used Sora. I'm not entirely certain, but that sounds right. I think that's the one, whatever site I was on, used. All right, so No Wrong Answers, Syracuse and Georgia Tech. Both teams coming in with 5 losses right now. Both teams lost their ACC opener. Georgia Tech did bounce back the other day, and they won. They beat Boston College. And when Georgia Tech lost their ACC opener, it was a 6-point loss on the road at Duke on New Year's Eve afternoon. So, yeah, they lost their ACC opener, but, not bad. Not bad, right? So this Georgia Tech team, of which Syracuse, in theory, took their best player from last year when you look at Nate George, and also took Soiree, who would have been a valuable piece of the rotation for Georgia Tech. They're doing okay here at 10-5, 1-1 in the league. It's not necessarily a roster that's jumping with names that you know. Kowacie Reeves is the main one. He's averaging 16 points a game. You might say, I vaguely remember that game, but where do I remember that name from? He missed most of last season hurt. This is his 5th year in school, was a Florida guy, former big-time recruit, transferred to Georgia Tech, hurt, played a lot before that, hurt last year, and now with George gone, with other guys gone, he is leading the way here for Georgia Tech here this season. This is a very important game here, right? And we're in this stretch here that started with Clemson, that the Orange will be just kicking themselves in a game they got away last week in the Dome on New Year's Eve afternoon last Wednesday. That's a game you lose by 3, and it's just like, oh my goodness. You actually made your free throws, this and that. How do you lose the game? Now, you're going on the road at Georgia Tech, which is a winnable game. But again, I just told you they gave Duke a game. Then you're on the road at Pittsburgh. You got Florida State at home. Boston College, Notre Dame are in the mix after that. You have a chunk of winnable games here before you get to Carolina, who just actually got smushed over the weekend. Duke, Louisville, etc. Coming up later this season. Syracuse doesn't just need to win these games. They need to win potentially all of them if they're going to actually get back into any sort of a conversation here over the next few weeks. They might need to win 5-6 in a row to really actually insert themselves anywhere near back into the conversation of where we want them to be at this point of the season. And obviously that ties into red and the whole thing. So no wrong answers. Syracuse, Georgia Tech, Tuesday night in Atlanta. What are we feeling in this game? We got to start with Nate George, right? Dom's got Nate going triple-double, 23, 11, and 10 steals. Whoa, that would be an electric game for Nate George. I say this, if Nate George goes 23 points, 11 assists, and 10 steals, Syracuse will win the game without issue down in Atlanta. No wrong answers, Nate George. I don't think he's going to quite do that. I think he'll be fine. I don't think he'll be put off playing his home team. I'm hoping it gives us the aggressive Nate George that we've seen recently. No wrong answers, Nate George. I'm going to go 15 points and 7 assists. We'll leave out the big pile of steals. What else do we got? J.J. Starling. Did he participate in the last game? I thought J.J. had actually been playing all right here of late. Just a total no-show against Clemson. He had 4 points. An early aggressive J.J. Starling. We've seen that. I think he has 10 points quick, but then we're going to get the fizzle-out J.J. Starling, right? He's scored earlier than not late. I think it'll be a 13-point night for J.J. Starling. No wrong answers. More no wrong answers. We need more of Kiyan Anthony. He actually had a decent game last time in limited minutes, played just 15 minutes at 7 points. It felt like he had it going a little bit, then didn't get on the court a lot in the second half. I think Syracuse needs to have Kiyan play more down the stretch because you need somebody else that's putting pressure on defense. I think he'll play a little more, but not enough more. I'll go 9 points for Kiyan in this game. Off night as well, last time out for Nate Kings. Nate Kings finds his way a little bit in this one. We'll go 10 points and 6 rebounds for Nate King. Donnie Freeman. All right, Donnie Freeman. So Donnie struggled in the first half. Donnie found his way in the second half. He was our Wildbirds Unlimited player of the game. All of his points came after halftime. What did he end up with? 18 and 9 in the game. I think Donnie will have a good game. My guess is he'll be back in the starting. Like, he's got to start the game, right? Like, we're done with that nonsense, right? Sadiq still needs to play, but put Donnie on the court at the beginning of the game. I think same game for Donnie, 18 and 9 in this game here. William Kyle, where did William Kyle go last game? Now, Clemson showed you the recipe for Kyle. Just bully ball him. Can Georgia Tech do that? I don't know. Clemson was very equipped physically to do that. Typically, recently, that's not necessarily been Georgia Tech's style, right? Like Akir Soare, who's similar-ish to Kyle, was on their roster last year in a similar position. Kyle needs to bounce back in a big way. I think he has an okay game. We'll go 10.7 rebounds for Kyle. But on the road for Syracuse, this technically is the first true road game of the season, right? First true road game of the season. Georgia Tech, who last week went into Cameron and gave them a run. Syracuse also historically has not played great in this building. Now, that's just kind of happenstance more than anything. No wrong answers. I think the temperature is going to start really cranking up here on red if they don't win a few here coming up, and by a few, almost all of these in the next couple of weeks. No wrong answers. Tuesday night in Atlanta. Final score, Yellow Jackets 73, Syracuse 69. 73-69, Orange go on the road, and another one slides away late. And I think I said it post-game last game. What have we been doing over and over again? Just saying, same story, different day. Same story, different day. Every game, the good ones and the bad ones, it feels like every game has been the same game. And again, after the game Tuesday night, YouTube is exactly the right place to be. Subscribe, notifications on, become a member of the channel, all that good stuff. We'll be here post-game, after the game, for our final thoughts. Right around 9, unfortunately, road game, so likely no way to get a Red Autry presser, but we'll see if we can check in on a couple things he said after the game, and we'll get your thoughts and your live video calls right after the game. There we are, little no wrong answers here, part of live in the 315. We will get a little Red Autry, I believe, next year on this this ACC Zoom call situation. Andy Enfield is on for SMU right now. SMU impressed the other day, just beat the living pants off of North Carolina. Yeah. I mean, is it going to be the end for Autry, Sean Lewis? No, but I mean, de facto. What's up, Kev? Now you know. Every Monday and Thursday, Kev, 11 o'clock to noon-ish. Every Monday and Wednesday, we'll be here rocking it out live at the 315. You know, Devin, why is Cayenne being held back so much? I wouldn't phrase it that way. It can appear that way. I don't think that is what's happening. I don't think that they're like, oh, let's hold Cayenne back. I think this goes back to one of the main things, like specific basketball things that I've been critical about Red for now 3 years, is that, nor did I, Matt NY. I mean, they beat the crap out of Carolina over the weekend. What did they win by 15? One of the main things that we talk about, offense and all this, Red gets lost in the sauce on substitutions. Welcome, T-Tix. Good news. You may be late, but you can just watch it on the archive. This will be on the podcast as well. Go get it every which way. Go get it wherever you want, and, that adds to the volume of our numbers. All right, Andy Enfield just stood up quickly out of his chair, so I think Red Autry is going to be next year. So we'll be getting prepared for Red here momentarily. I do believe. All right, so Red will be here shortly. Yeah. I mean, Hubert Davis. Like, Carolina fans have certainly not been enthused with Hubert Davis over the years, right? I mean, he made the Final Four the other year, but they've been willing to absolutely throw him out the boat, and him getting that job was very, very similar, obviously, to Red. Like, that transition went pretty much the same way as Reds did. So Red will be on here, it looks like. Here we can look at there is the ACC weekly Zoom. Red will be appearing. Oh, there's the wrong button. Oh my goodness, what are we doing? Red will be appearing in that box here shortly. I got so many things. First day of this new show, I gotta realize where all my buttons are. Yeah, like I still don't think Red's getting fired during the season unless things go like completely haywire and they just like absolutely have to make a move. I think, for one, like, and this stinks for Red, like, if I'm Syracuse and that's where it's going to go, sorry, Red, you're going to be the one that wears it. You don't want the attention if you're John Wildhack or if you're anybody else. You don't want, like, the eye to turn off of you and be like, oh, huh, yeah. Like, yeah, Carolina went to the Final Four. The one year, I think they had one really good regular season, and they had the one great tournament run. And besides that, it's been just a bunch of, all right, but certainly not up to Carolina standards. Certainly not up to Carolina standards. And Syracuse, is feeling in many ways the same way without the recent run, right? But if you add in Boeheim's last year's, right, they had a few runs, but the rest of it was kind of not up to Syracuse's standards. They just did, I saw some poll. I think they interviewed coaches in the ACC. Who did it? It was the Field of 68, I think. And Syracuse was still ranked as the 5th or 6th most desirable job in the league. So that's good to see that, like, other coaches in basketball still think that of Syracuse. But we'll see. But if I'm Syracuse, just sorry, Red. Like, if this is to be the last year, and it's certainly trending that way, I make him take every single bullet, because you don't want that spreading around. You don't want You know what? Was that Jeff Goodman's poll? Okay, Matt. Yeah, I just happened to see that passing by on Twitter this morning. Yeah, that was Field of 68. Was that Goodman who did it? I believe, if I'm right, Matt, MY, was, yeah, there was coaches. Was NC State ahead? But again, look at NC State. Everyone was singing Will Wade's praises, right? And in the last two games, they went out and didn't look great here, or early on in ACC play. They lost back-to-back games here, I believe. Or they certainly lost 2 or 3 or whatever they've lost. They've lost recently. Where at Will Wade? Thank you, Sean. There it is. Sean Lewis, you can do this now as we wait for Red. Sean, you see the little $sign next to your chat window? It is what it says. There's many options to give me money there. One of them is to become a member of the channel. It's also true. The job has not been available. Not once to it. Like, the job's not been available to an outsider in a very, very long time. You can become a member of the channel. You can become a friend of the 315, or you can become a 315 loyalist. That, Govendo, that is a significant matter, right? Obviously, Syracuse got the best bargain in college basketball for years and years and years with what they got away paying Jim Boeheim. Jim was fine with it for whatever reason. They got away with getting one of the better coaches in the country for half value or whatever. Devin has donated $5. You don't want to buy a bird cam. Fair enough, Devin. Fair enough. Yeah, but if they don't pay the coach, and more importantly, and I think more coaches are really in tune to this now, especially ones that are up for the big jobs, Govendo, the coaches really want to know what they're going to have to work with when it comes to an NIL budget. And if you're not going to have a legitimate budget to work with, they don't want to do it, right? Like, if you're not going to have the budget to do it, why would you take that job? Because that, more than your own salary, that sets you up for failure. And to go along with it, this is more of a football thing than a basketball thing, but it's certainly part of it. What is the salary of, or what's the salary pool for your assistant coaches? And yeah, I don't know. Now, like, last year, CJC, you had Fran. Obviously, that's a lower price in football, and it worked for the 1 year. The problem here is in NIL, you got to keep doing it over and over and over and over again. All right, Red. Where is Red? Red's thing was supposed to start at 11:50. I see a longtime basketball SID, Pete Moore, is in the chat, so hopefully that means Red will be there soon. Yeah, like, JB did all fun. Boeheim made a lot of money. You know, he was getting Nike money, he was getting Syracuse money, like endorsement money. Like, Jim's not crying poor, but I think Jim also understood and was willing. Like, when Coach K was making $10 million a year, Jim was making like $3 million. If he wanted to throw a stink about that, and that's a long time ago. That's when Syracuse was still like number 1 in the country. Like, if Jim wanted to throw a stink about that and have made more money, he could have done it. Full credit to him. He never chose to do that. Well, now you're talking about outside hire. Ooh, I see Red here. Now I'm talking about outside hire. Well, we're going to need to do that. All right, Red.
I think you just got to take yourself off of mute there.
Red is muted.
Red.
Yep.
There we go. All right. Good to see you.
Good seeing you, man.
Orange Standard.
All right. We'll get right into it. Donna Datota, go ahead.
Donna. Where's Donna?
Yeah, hey Adrian. So I'm wondering, if you would like Nate Kings and Tyler Betsy to get more threes. They've been shooting it pretty well the last few games, and they haven't gotten a ton of shots. I'm curious about what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, we've really talked about, overall as a team, moving the ball a little bit better, moving it more. We do need to try to make a conscious effort getting them some more shots as well. But a lot of it we talked about and addressed was just ball movement. We need to, move the ball a little bit more. The last couple of games, our assists have went down drastically. So that was something that we really addressed, over these last, 4 or 5 days.
But will you run some plays for them?
That particularly why those guys are not getting shots? Do you think they're being aggressive enough to look for them? Are guys trying to find those two guys?
No, I think we're trying, but I also think it's two-part. I think they have to move a little bit more. I think sometimes, not being ready. We've talked about, the best time being open is when you first catch it and making that look. And So I think we've talked about that. Obviously, they are very good 3-point shooters, and we do know that we need to be able to get some more shots for them.
Can you run some plays so they're open when they first catch it? That's the way to do it.
Hey, Coach. Now that Calvin Russell's officially signed, I just wanted to ask you about him. Just what were some of your conversations with him and his team about, how he can balance both sports and college, and just how would you evaluate his game on the court?
One, he's a big time athlete, and I think when you have, he's a special athlete, and we talked about him coming in here and, bringing a lot of energy and just kind of figuring things out. But obviously he's a physical guy, a guy that has played. He has good touch. But we're really just looking to try to get him ingrained. In what we're doing. But the biggest thing is just being another tall 6'5", 6'6", athlete. That has some athleticism. So that will help us as a team and in practice.
Go next to Cooper Andrews.
Football players, even if they're skinny in football, always look giant on the basketball court.
Trying to negotiate with and sign NBA G League players. Just what are your thoughts on that and the potential ramifications that it has for this sport?
We haven't been a part of that, but it just, in my opinion, I'm not fond of it. To be honest, I think it's something that is just kind of, I see it as taking opportunities for high school kids that have went to high school, they plan to go to college, and I think some of the things that a couple of cases that I've heard, they've had a chance to go to college, they chose not to go to college, or whatever the case may be, and everyone has choices, and then they, to be able to have them back into college, I think it's confusing. So that's about as much as I would say on it. I just think that it's taking some opportunities from high school kids, for sure, and then some of the college kids that are the college kids that are here, the kids that started at a lower level now with the freedom of movement, being able to get a chance to move up, so to speak. I think it's confusing, and I think it just takes some opportunities from guys that are in the college system, that's a part of the college system, and so that's kind of how I feel about it.
It's more than confusing. It's bizarre. Mike Waters. Where's Mike?
Mike, we don't have any audio on you.
Mike Waters is silent.
It says you're unmuted, but I'm not getting any audio. I don't know, Red, maybe you can hear.
No, I haven't heard anything from Mike.
Paging Mike.
Mike, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Red.
Yeah,
we can't hear Mike.
Any audio from you there, Mike.
Mike, tell Donna your question. We could hear Donna.
Well, we'll move on to Chad Bishop, and then we'll see if Mike's audio, if we can rectify that. Go ahead, Chad.
Hey, Coach, have you talked to Nate and Soiree about coming back to Atlanta? Will you talk to them about handling those emotions at all?
Yeah, I will. Obviously, them being 1 year removed, they will have a lot of emotions. I have done that myself in my professional career, being traded in the middle of the season and playing a former team. So I will address that, and talk to them a little bit about that before we play them.
Well, looks like Mike had about the same type of question, so that's good. Two birds with one stone there. But that's all the time that we have for you, Red. Thank you today.
All right, thank you. Sorry about being late, guys.
All good. We'll see you next week.
Okay. Red's late and then gets cut off at the same time that he would have anyway. The ACC teleconference. It is glorious nonsense on a weekly basis. But it is scheduled very specifically at a time that fits right exactly with this new program we're doing. So in theory, we'll be able to check in with the Red at 11:50, or if he's late, after 11:50 every week. Yeah, the ACC weekly teleconference Zoom thing, Devin, it is a bleep show. It is hilarious nonsense. And because the league is so big, it takes if you're going to sit and do the whole thing, I wouldn't recommend it. It takes more than 3 hours because every coach has 10 scheduled minutes, and it's going and going. This thing started at 10 in the morning. It's going to 1. It's just going and going and going. All right, so there we are. Just a tiny little bit of red. We got Donna. We got Mike Waters in silence. And there we are. There we are. All right, so that's it. We're going to put it in the books. That's our first edition of Live in the 315. Why? If you missed it at the beginning, how did we come up with the name of the show? Spent a lot of time on this one. We're live. The name of the channel is the 315. We're currently in it. We're currently in it. That is how we did all that. All right, programming rest of the week, just to catch you all up on it. Post-game tomorrow night after Houston, Georgia Tech. Jordan and myself, TPS Report, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Another Live in the 315. We're doing this Mondays and Thursdays at 11. We'll be back on Thursday at 11. The current tentative plan is to have Mike McAllister on, potentially live. I know that's the name of the show. It potentially may be taped, depending on when Mike is available. We'll get your live calls going in, and we'll do all of that stuff going forward. So thanks, everybody, for finding this new show at a new time. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, do that. Turn the notifications on so you don't have to remember all the things I just told you. All right. Glad to kick your week off and enjoy the rest of your Monday and kind of the first day of the year, sort of. The last few days have existed in some kind of weird netherworld that I haven't been able to properly decipher. But it now finally feels like we've started here in 2026. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. We will talk to you tomorrow night, post-game, Syracuse and Georgia Tech.
Thanks for watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. We'll see you next time.